everyone, and a warm welcome to all of you to this exciting and thought provoking conference on the theme India 2047 Innovate, Engage, and Transform, organized by the Student Research Development Cell, Shodha, School of Commerce, Jane, in association with Miles Education. We are gathered here today to explore, discuss, and reflect on the vision of India in the year 2047 as we chart the course for a more innovative, engaged, and transformative future. I, Nompi Raj, am honored to be your MC for today's event and would like to extend my hearty welcome to the Registrar, James deemed to be University, Mr. Balaji Iyer, Moss Adams team, Mr. Varun Jain, Miles Education team, directors, speakers, heads and coordinators, research team members, students, faculty members, student coordinators, and very importantly, the participants from various institutions. Before we begin, let us start by invoking the blessings of the divine. I request everyone to please rise for the invocation. Kindly refrain from clapping after the invocation prayer. Thank you, prayer team, for that serene invocation. It is with great reverence and respect that we invite our dignitaries to light the lamp and officially inaugurate today's event. We also request a participant from the audience to join us. I request a participant representative to join us. Thank you, everyone. As the flame of this lamp spreads its light, may our minds and hearts be filled with wisdom, compassion, and creativity. I now request the dignitaries onto the dais. Jane deemed to be University aims to foster human development through quality education, research, entrepreneurship development, and sports. The university has embraced National Education Policy 2020 and is at the forefront of the implementation of several path breaking initiatives such as outcome based education, blended learning, transdisciplinary project centric learning, minor degrees, vocational programs, UGC entitled online degree programs, distance education programs, sports education programs, and technology enabled learning. Over the years, the university has made conscious and concrete efforts to build on its strengths and consolidate its achievements. The university is an ISO 9001-2015 certified for quality management by TUE Nord. It is a member of the Association of Universities of Asia and the Pacific. It has been awarded 5 stars in the Young University category in Karnataka by KSurf iCare Ratings. The university hosted Khelo India 2021 with 170 universities across India participating and has won the overall championship in Khelo India. The university is also a member of the Association of Indian Universities and has, to its credit, for hosting the All India Universities National Unifest called Jain Utsav in 2022-23 with 106 universities participating in the fest. The university has an impressive and active placement cell which has worked towards bringing 4,300 plus placement offers for postgraduate and graduate students with a remarkable highest package of 42 lakhs per annum. Recently, Jain University was honored as the best institute at Making India Employable Awards held in Mumbai, recognizing our commitment to fostering employable talent. The university was awarded the Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar 2023 from the Honorable President of India. Jain Deemed to be University strives to be a torchbearer in academia, research, sports, entrepreneurship, and placements. Let me now introduce the School of Commerce. School of Commerce at Jain Deemed to be University has been dedicated to student empowerment, value enhancement, academic enrichment, and innovation for almost 3 decades. Its commitment to constant innovation is evident in various aspects of its operation, including professional tie-ups with the professional bodies such as the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants UK, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants UK, Certified Management Accountant USA, Institute of Analytics UK, and many more. Research-oriented faculty members of the school inspire students from diverse countries, creating a stimulating learning environment. The School of Commerce has academic collaborations with prominent industries and professional institutions such as KPMG through its KCAP and KCIAP programs, National Stock Exchange Certification in Financial Markets, Mutual Fund Advisors course in collaboration with the Association of Mutual Funds in India, and the Advanced Wealth Management program offered through the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. These certification programs provide students with valuable skills, employability, and entrepreneurial opportunities. The School of Commerce is dedicated to cultivating a robust research culture extending beyond academic pursuits to encompass extracurricular, co-curricular, and social outreach activities. This comprehensive approach ensures the holistic development of our students. In the latest India Today ranking, the School of Commerce achieved 41st position overall and secured the first rank among emerging colleges in India with best placement records. Our curriculum framework is meticulously aligned with the principles of NEP 2020, reflecting our commitment to progressive education standards. To speak a few words about SRDC Shodha, the Student Research Development Cell was set up in the year 2014 with the objective of providing a platform for the students to step into research paper writing and to direct the young intuitive minds of the students in the right direction. SRDC's efforts to reach out to the student community have seen results from the very first year of its work. Every year, it provides a platform for undergraduate and postgraduate students to present research papers in prestigious institutions both at national and international levels. The efforts of SRDC will continue to nurture vibrant minds and work towards adding an array of activities enriching the experience of students. Now, I would like to introduce a groundbreaking institution that has been shaping the future of education in India and beyond, Miles Education. Miles Education, the flag bearer of accountants, is committed to transforming the accounting industry and addressing the global shortage of skilled professionals. Miles has built a robust ecosystem for CPA and CMA, revolutionizing the path to becoming a qualified accountant. Profound impact is evident as they effectively bridge the global skills gap and shape the future of accounting. They take immense pride in showcasing the exceptional talent of Indian accountants on a global stage. Through their relentless efforts, they have successfully advocated for jobs to be brought from the United States to India, opening up abundant opportunities for accountants and contributing positively to the Indian economy. Miles has also pioneered pathways for Indian accountants to pursue international opportunities, particularly in the United States of America. Through strategic partnerships with renowned institutions, public accounting firms, and corporations, they empower professionals to work abroad, serving as flag bearers of Indian accounting talent and making significant contributions to the global accounting landscape. We are now honored to have an esteemed leader with us today whose contributions to the smooth running of Jain deemed to be university are indispensable. Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, a PhD in economics, brings over 2 decades of expertise in academia, spanning teaching, research, administration, and institution building. His research focuses on economic policy, international business, consumer behavior, and sustainable development with publications in reputed journals. He has held leadership roles such as director and dean at premier institutions and contributed to the UGC's learning outcome-based curricular framework. Dr. Mishra is also a founder member of the AIMS Research and Fellowship Grant Committee and has served as Regional President, Southern Region of AIMS. It is my pleasure to invite our respected Registrar, Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, to deliver the official welcome address of the conference.
Good morning, everyone. Honorable keynote speaker for the day, Shri Balaji Iyer, Mr. Varun Jain in absentia. I can't see him. He is on the way. Peoples from Miles, invited guests, faculty members, participants, paper presenters, students, ladies and gentlemen. Let me congratulate you all at the outset for being here to deliberate and discuss something which is very exciting and equally interesting. And it is Innovate, Engage and Transform, which is the slogan given by Honorable Prime Minister of India in the Amrit Kal with a vision for 2047, when we will be celebrating 100th day of our 100th year of our independence, and we look forward to see India as a developed nation. To achieve anything, we need to have a clarity of goal. And once you have a clarity of goal, that automatically helps you chalk out the path and make you move in the right direction. We all have understood that innovation is something which is inevitable for growth and sustenance both. It is as important for survival as for growth. In 1776, when Adam Smith, the father of economics and father of capitalism, wrote the book Wealth of Nation, he came up with an understanding, he propounded a theory that if any nation has to grow, it has to have certain things in order. And one thing was focusing on productivity. That was the first time when we started looking beyond the regular routine, and we had a formal structure, formal way of looking at something which was the foundation for innovation. He focuses on productivity improvement, and there he brought the combination of man with skill, machines with tools and procedures, and propounded a concept of division of labor by which the productivity can be increased. And that was the starting of capitalism, where incentives were driving our production and profitability. And that has been leading the nations. In 1930, Joseph Schumpeter, the Austrian economist who was the finance minister, also propounded a theory of creative destruction. And his idea was that if the organizations have to survive and grow, they have no other ways than to continuously engage in innovation. And innovation was something which was non-negotiable for the survival of the country, for the survival of the organization. And he says that when the innovation happens, innovation drives economic change, and that creates destruction of many organizations. In present time, it is more relatable if you see, because the pace of change, pace of obsolescence has become very fast. Earlier it was longer, so it was becoming difficult to relate and believe, but now we can see that what way the old procedures, old technologies, old methods are getting obsolescence by every single innovation happening. We see that how the pages vanished, we got mobile, how the mobile from one form to another have changed, how the various modes of technologies are transforming everything overnight. We saw artificial intelligence, chat GPT, DeepSeek and all. So we are witnessing it more faster, and we can relate to it, that innovation is something which is inevitable. And in that context, I think if you look back the developed nation and developing nation, or not so developed nation, you can see the developed nation has limited human resource, they have lesser population, they have lesser natural resources also. But they have been able to make a mark, and that was on account of their innovative capabilities. And if you want to see the classic example, you can look at Israel, a small country with almost nothing at their disposal, and they have been able to lead the world by their innovative capabilities. Their innovations is one of the premium and always having a future vision. You look at America or any of the developed countries for that matter, you will see that innovation is something which has led it. In our country or in less developed countries, we have always been looking at the limited perspective of survival. And therefore, whatever was easily available, we were trying to trade and transact to make sure that we survive. Lately, as the development has happened, we have understood that simply processing in a limited way or exporting our natural resources is not going to help us come to a level that we dream to be global leader or a developed nation. And therefore, the innovation is the one and the only way to make this dream come true. And therefore, you see that government, after realizing it, after acknowledging it, it has left no stone unturned to propagate the same and create a movement. Today we see the startup in India is a movement. We are third largest startup in the world. We have got almost 1.56 lakhs startups in the country, 125 unicorns, and their overall valuation is more than 1 trillion. So that has been the way over a decade or so that movement has led us to. And therefore, it has further reinforcing that if the country has to move beyond the limited cycle, it has to make a breakthrough development, then it has to innovate, and it has to continuously engage in innovation. And in that cycle, the aim of 2047 Develop India is to be led by innovation. And in this entire process, if you see who is innovating, where this innovation is coming from, who are the innovators in this entire movement, who are driving this movement, and who are the key contributors? People like you. It is the youth. the key innovators are under 40. And that is where you can see your scope. That is where you have got your place. You need to think in a way where it is not limited to the time that you learn to get a degree and then use that degree to get a job, which was the process at least last 10 years or 10 years back. Now, over a period, it has started changing. Now the people are refusing job, even in the elite institutions like IITs and IIM, and they are refusing the job to take up their startups. That moment has started. I think that has still limited to the limited institutions and limited groups. It has to go by and large down the line, and everyone has to think alike. This kind of conferences will certainly create a platform. They will create an opportunity where we can discuss, deliberate, dive deep, understand the nuances, and make it clear that how each one of us can be a contributor to innovator. It is not that if you make a startup, then only you are contributing to innovation. Innovation can be done in any manner to any process to make it better. If you can have the idea, you can try to put it to make it better. Nowadays, if you see another paradigm shift, when Adam Smith started, he has looked at the man, machine, material and money as the major driver of growth and prosperity, major contributor to profit. But if you see over a period of time, the way technology has been leading the entire process, the ownership of resources has become insignificant. Earlier, when we were in agrarian era, the people who had larger possession of land, they were having the riches because the land was the way of survival. Then those who have more of capital and they transform it into businesses, factories or otherwise, they had the riches. But today, who are the rich people? Who are the people who are driving and disrupting the overall growth and development process? Young people like you. Somebody of 25 years, somebody of 32 years, he come with a startup, disrupt the entire process. Zerodha is one example. Oyo is another. You see Uber, you see Airbnb. These are the new innovations and new trained in innovation where you need not have huge resources under your possession to contribute or to drive this innovation and development. It is all driven by ideas. Now, if you have an idea, capital is not a problem. You have got investors all across who can come and support you. If you have the idea worth converting into business, you are going to have a team which will come and join you and contribute it in building it. So there are two paradigm shifts if you see. One, as a nation we have acknowledged that we are not going to be engaged in the same limited economic activity of either selling and exporting the raw material and semi-processed goods. We are going to take lead in innovation and try to be the key participant in technology-driven processes, either for indigenous use or for the exports. Second is the ecosystem itself has transformed. It has gone through a paradigm shift where ownership of resources are no more a requirement for being participant and leader in the innovative process. And both work very well in the context of our country where we have got the youth, largest number of youth, largest number of educated youth, and largest number of working population with good education. If we try to chart out our trajectory with clear goals and make our milestones clear, I think we can take advantage of this opportunity, which is once in lifetime, and that is the occasion where all need to have clarity. And I am sure that this conference will bring various insights and ways forward that will help us expedite our processes, our thought processes, bring the ideas connected, and can make a team to drive this innovation. I wish this conference a great learning, great exchange of ideas and thoughts, and after that, we all will have better clarity, will be richer in our understanding. I wish you all the very best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone for today. Before we move ahead with our today's program, I request Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, Registrar, to hand over a sapling to Mr. Balaji Iyer and Mr. Varun Jain. Thank you, sirs. We now move to a very special segment of today's conference, the keynote session. This session is all about bringing to the forefront bold ideas and strategies that will define the India of tomorrow. Our keynote speaker for the session is none other than Mr. Balaji Iyer, the India Managing Partner at Moss Adams. A seasoned leader with 2 decades of experience, Mr. Balaji Iyer oversees Moss Adams India Capability Center. He specializes in GCC strategies, service incubations, and driving digital transformation using design thinking and systems thinking. Mr. Balaji has held leadership roles at firms like Grant Thornton, Ernst & Young, and other consulting firms, leading in enterprise transformation and global teaming initiatives. Mr. Iyer's keynote address is titled India 2047, Bold, Skilled, Unapologetically Ambitious. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Balaji Iyer to the stage.
Still good morning, right? Are we awake? Yes. Are we sure? Yes. I don't hear any energy right now in the room. I can't sense the energy. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. I won't start. We can keep doing this for the next 1 hour. I have an hour slot. I can keep wishing you good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Still not there. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Now, you will know when it is good morning, right? Good morning. Good morning, sir. Still not there. I'll keep going for next whatever 58 minutes. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Well, this is where we want to go. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Look around the room and have some peer influence, because I'll keep doing this for the next 57 minutes now. Look around and see if your next person is going to say good morning or not. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Better. No, once more. Ek baar banta hai India ka. Good morning. Good morning, sir. See, much better. It's easier when you start like that, right? Well, my name is Balaji Iyer. I am the managing partner for a firm called Moss Adams India. We are the India Delivery Center, Global Capability Center for a US-based public accounting firm named Moss Adams, over $1.3 million in revenue, and we have a growing India delivery ecosystem that we represent. And I have here Mr. Hanumant Raju, who is the tax leader. We have Arun, who is the assurance or audit leader. We have Priya, who is the people leader. We also have Shivam, who engages a lot with campuses, and we do hire from Jain, by the way. And we have Ankana, who leads our change and communication. The reason I call their names out is, in case you want to get hold of them after the session and have a conversation, you know who they are, at least you know the names, and those people are here. Well, thank you for wishing me good morning. It helps me feel better, right? All right. India 2047. How old will India be as an independent nation by that time? 100? Okay. Here is what I want to do. We can make it a keynote address, or we can make it a keynote conversation. I want to lean towards making it a keynote conversation, because India of 2047 cannot be passive like this. It has to be participative. If you want to build careers, career is it's not a spectator sport, it is a participative sport. You don't sit around your career on a screen and watch it grow or go down, right? You have to lean in and jump in and drive your career. So do I have your permission to be a participative and a conversative keynote? Sure? Okay. And I promise you, if you promise to be different, I promise this keynote to be different. It's only if you promise me to be different, right? And don't be passive. All right. We get going. How many of you see the screen from the back? Or is it too much light? Okay, I may need dimming down the house lights, which is going to put some of them to sleep, and my job will to keep them awake. Awesome. All right. So you see this image. This could be a compare and contrast when India is at 100 at 2047. How old are you guys? Do the mental math. And how old will you be when India will be at 100? Do the math. It's a school of commerce, so I believe you will be reasonably good with numbers. So anyone wants to, and do we have mics running to people who may want to answer? See, I'm going to put a lot of people to work here. That's what I do for a living. Awesome. How old will, who wants to go? How old will you be when India will be at 100? Yes, we have a young lady there.
41.
Brilliant. Anyone else has a different age bracket? There's someone there.
Sir, 44.
44. Excellent. So between the young lady and the young man, you will be on balance where I am right now in my age, right? So hopefully you guys will be here coming back to your institution and inspiring the next leap for India, right? So you do now determine when you will be here, will you be representing India as world's back office or world's boardroom? Boardroom? How many of you, raise your hands, how many of you believe and want to make India the world's boardroom, not the back office? Raise your hands. Oh, okay, some are not convinced, which is fine, we'll see where it goes, right? Okay, by 2047, which is India at 100, economists are saying we'll be a $30 trillion economy. Now that's a big leap from where we are. Do you know how big of an economy we are today? 3.8, 4, 4.3. There are nominal GDP, real GDP. There are formulas to be had, but there and thereabouts, roughly about $4 trillion. So we were talking about a 8x shift, right? To over the next 22 odd years to get to 30 trillion. So the 30 trillion, do you think it's given? India will get there? Yes, no? No? Provocation from Varun saying no, we won't get there. No, it's not a given, fair enough. No, even if the provocation is a good provocation, Varun, right? We have to inspire each other to say no, it won't happen unless we do something. The other question is, will we serve out of India the global companies, or will we create global companies out of India by the time we are 2047? That's the question to ask, right? Because it is very clear we have the talent, but what will we do with that? Will we create those global behemoths out of India? It's not traditionally happened. My generation has fallen woefully short of that, but we had our own reasons, like you guys will have your reasons, right? So either you can stand here at 42, 43, 44 and give an excuse, or you can show the way, right? So I believe you guys will show the way. So now let's understand what the world is short of, right? There are two things, and again I would see if you can spend about 30 seconds darting your eyes at the screen. Two things, there is talent and there is expertise. So I'll speak of the industry that I represent, and I will speak to the talent shortage. And I want to underscore that is not the only shortage of talent that we'll face, but I'll speak to my industry. As of today, so Moss Adams India as a firm, we support our US clients with assurance, tax and consulting, and we heavily rely on one specific area of skill and certification, that is accountancy. And we honor, and our industry honors a qualification called Certified Public Accountants, or what many of you would know as CPAs. As of today, US is 340,000, which is 3.4 lakh CPA short as of today, right? And that gap is going to widen over the next 15 years. It's not going to get better in the US, it's going to widen because 75% of existing CPAs in US practicing are likely to retire in the next 15 years. That is even 7 years short of the 2047 milestone we are talking about, right? So that is one piece, right? Second thing is expertise. Just having someone qualified, someone who is who's an accountant, doesn't cut it, does it? Do you think just getting your CPA will be enough or getting your degree will be enough? Raise your hands who believe that's enough. And that's fine if some of you believe that. Okay, so this is a wrong question. I should have asked the other way around. Then will be more participation. So AI, how many of you heard about this beautiful word called AI? Raise your hands. Awesome. And I'm going to ask those of you to stand up who are slightly worried that AI may actually be a train wreck for your careers. Stand up. If you are scared or you're worried or concerned that AI may throw a wrench in the works. None of you? So this is a very confident bunch. I must have to call out to the institution, right? You believe AI will not disrupt. Let me do a provocation. I think AI will disrupt. You like it or not. A lot of low-end repetitive jobs will go away, and not till 2047. They will go away in the next 3 to 5 years. Some are going away as we speak in our own firms, right? It's happening, which means just showing up and doing the bare bone basics will not cut it. That's all of those things. AI will take a swath at the first instant itself, right? Which means we need expertise in the world, because that's where the premium is going to be paid for in skills. So far with me, talent and expertise is what the world needs, and this is India's advantage. So again, if you have mic runners, I want some answers. What do you see in this image? What do you see as India's advantage? Can we get the mic?
Socializing.
Socializing, okay, fair enough.
Maybe population.
Population, okay. That's not a lot of population, but still I'll give it to you both, right? The social acuity and navigating social situations and population. What else? What else do you see? Networking, I hear networking. Thank you, yes.
Young talent.
Young talent, wonderful. Do you see yourself here?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, all right, excellent. What else? What else do you see here? I can't hear. Can you say that again? Sorry,
Acknowledging all around the world.
Okay, excellent. So there is connectivity, there is a map. Okay, super. What else? There is someone that side.
Creativity.
Creativity, yes. Okay, brilliant. What else? Collaborative workspaces. What? Okay, all right. No wrong answers here. You can figure out, right? It's very intuitive.
They all seem to be so happy.
Sorry, I can't hear it without.
They all seem to be happy.
They seem to be happy. See, that's a wonderful thing. Thank you very much for calling that out. Somehow, workplaces are designed, or the PR around that is very bad. It's like it's a grim space. No, actually, people have a lot of fun. I've been doing this for 2 decades. See, I still have the energy, right? And I didn't have breakfast. The college did offer me breakfast, by the way, I have to say that. So thank you very much. I choose not to have it. So happy faces, and you can't be energetic without happiness in life, right? So thank you. Any other last call? Anything else you see here? Connections. We heard collaborative workspaces. We heard connections. Those connections are of the heart and the mind. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, we'll move forward. This is you. If you haven't, everything that you spoke about, right? Being young, that is not me here, right? Although I would like to believe, when I go on my morning run, that I'm still young, but my Lex tell me that I'm not as young as I was. So this is all about you. So you can choose for this image to become a reality when you hit your job markets, right? But here's the thing. We speak about India at 100, we speak about India at 2047. You have to understand that today's actions, whatever you do today, the seeds you plant today for your life, for your career, for the nation building, only those seeds hopefully will, flourish and become a garden, and then they'll become a forest, and they'll, the seeds that you don't plant, that you keep in your head and hoping someday you'll do something with it, they don't turn to much. So just understand whatever has to happen 22 years down the line for India, the potential for that is sitting in this room. Right? Okay. Audience question. What does this image remind you of? Chandrayaan. Okay. Anyone can tell me something about Chandrayaan? Anyone?
It's the first to land on the south side of the moon.
Excellent. So south pole of the moon, first probe, man-made probe to land on the south pole of the moon. India became the first country to land its probe on the south side of the moon. Excellent. What do you think it takes to do something like that? I hear grit and perseverance. Thank you. Awesome. What else? Can you and I put a rover on the moon today? So what does it need? You said experts. Okay. To get to, sorry, I need mic.
Gratitude.
Oh, gratitude. Oh, I didn't come at it that at all. So you have to tell me how. This is very powerful. Okay, the mic is gone. give it to the young lady. Yeah.
Because we should be like thinking ourselves like we can do this, and we should be more innovative and what to say.
That's fine. Go ahead.
We should be like the willpower should be there to do that.
Okay. So the force and the willpower has to be there. And I heard expertise. To build expertise, what do you need to build first? The answer is kind of pretty much on the slide. Right? Skills. Thank you very much. Right? So you need to be a rocket scientist first of all to put something like that on the moon, right? Being an accountant will not cut it. But being a rocket scientist will not cut it with accounts either. So you need to develop your core skills. If you are I'm assuming this is the College of Commerce, right? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. So if it's a yes, then what can we learn from this? By the way, what the budget for Chandrayaan 3 was? No idea? Okay, I'll give it to you. It was less than $100 million. It was in fact closer to $75 million. There are different estimates floating around. It is much less than the budget of the Hollywood movie called Interstellar, which spoke about space travel. A visual treat, a great movie. That movie cost double than sending Chandrayaan 3 and landing it safely on the moon. Can you imagine what India did? We sent a lunar probe, landed on the south side of the moon, became the first country to do it at a cost which was 50% or less than 50% of the movie Interstellar's budget. Right? So, I'm sure you can appreciate, even if you don't understand in depth, but the type of skill that would be needed to do something like this. So I want to do a quick exercise with you guys. Okay? How many of you have taken a flight in the last 6 months? Raise your hand. Okay. Awesome. And I want a mic to someone who has taken a flight in the last 6 months. Raise your hands and grab the mic. I will. How many of you taken a flight in the last 6 months? And if you have, you're a good candidate to grab the mic.
Sir,
Okay, you got the mic. All right. Now this exercise is, by the way, for everyone, even if you have not taken the flight in the last 6 months. Close your eyes and imagine the flight is about to land. And the pilot says, thank you for flying with us, whatever is the airline, I won't brand them right now, but says, thank you for flying with us, we're going to land in the next 20 minutes. Oh, by the way, pray for me and all of us, this is my first landing in my career. Allow the real moment to sink in. And that gentleman who has the mic gets to go first. What do you feel now hearing a pilot say, pray for me, pray for us, this is going to be the first landing?
Sir, bit nervous.
Bit nervous, thank you very much for being honest. Anyone else wants to go at it?
As much as I know him, he would have freaked out, sir.
Sir, first we will take the life jacket.
Thank you. Smart thinking. Smart thinking. Anyone else wants to take a shot? What are you feeling and share?
Sir, I would text everyone on WhatsApp that I'm going to die.
Oh, you're assuming there is internet at 36,000
No,
feet.
after I land or something, some possibility.
No, at that time when the pilot announces,
About to land, na?
he's saying we'll land in 20 minutes, we are starting a descent.
So I will at least draft my messages and keep so that hope that whatever I want to convey to someone will go there.
So you're planning ahead, interesting, very
Yeah.
Okay, but what are you feeling, young lady, at this time?
I am feeling like, क्या बोलते हैं?
क्या बोलते हैं?
I might also record a Snapchat.
No, what are you feeling? What are you feeling?
Sir, I'm feeling nervous and a bit challenging also. A Bollywood character maybe at that point of time.
You're feeling like a Bollywood character. This is new. Excellent. But at least you're opening up as an audience. I'm so glad. Right?
Thank
this
you,
is what
sir.
India needs. Right?
Exactly.
You to be participative. Excellent. Anyone else wants to take a mic and say what are they feeling? Okay, that's fine. One more exercise then. Again, close your eyes. If any one of you, and I say this very cautiously and respectfully, if any one of you have had a loved one undergo a surgery, and I wish this on no one, but if any one of you either has themselves or had their loved ones undergo a surgery, imagine that moment before the surgery and the surgeon telling you, you know, this is going to be great, I'm really kicked about it, pray for me and pray for, you know where I'm going with this, right? Pray for all of us, because this is the first time I'm going to cut open someone in real life. I've done this in my training on a dead body or on a prosthetic body, but it's the first time I'm doing this on a live human being. And imagine, I'm sure many of us have had situations where our loved ones have undergone the knife. How are you feeling at this moment?
First, I'll motivate the surgeon. All the best, do it well, like that. I'll smile and motivate him. And then when he gets into the hall, I'll sit and cry because it's his first time.
Okay. Oh wow. It's a very different India I'm seeing. You will motivate the surgeon. Okay. Anyone else? But really, what are you feeling? Acknowledge your feelings, guys. I think there's a lady here.
I could feel the pain of my loved one suffering, or I feel pressurized ki this is his first operation and my loved ones is there. So I could feel the pain and pressure both.
Pain and pressure. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else wants to? Someone is saying something I can't hear, but. No one? Okay, cool. You'll ask for a doctor with experience. So Raju here says he'll ask for a doctor with experience. Okay. See, there's a reason why I did this exercise, right? It's not for us to feel scared, anxious. But as each of you go into your first jobs, how many of you will go into your first job in about a year or two? Raise your hands. Never had a work experience, full-time work experience before, raise your hands. Others have? Okay. So now, anyone who is going to trust you with work is sometimes feeling like this. Now, this is not life or death, I recognize, but it's equally serious with compliance and audits and tax, right? The reason is people feel much more comfortable if they know you have done this before, if you know what you're doing, and this is an expertise that you bring to the table, right? Because the world pays you top money when they know that you are an expert in this. Not for a rookie, not for them, you to train on their time and dime. This is the reality, right? So I want you to acknowledge it when you go into workforces, that you have to build skills. And if you don't build skills, you will end up becoming what? Not an expert, not a master, but mediocre. So it's about making sure we make the journey from mediocrity to mastery, and it takes a lot. So go for mastery, not mediocrity, right? So skill building is important. I learned something recently about this wonderful word called plot armor. How many of you know what a plot armor is? Raise your hands. Oh wow. Never heard about plot armor? By the way, this is a Gen Z term, that's what I was told by a Gen Z from Jain University, by the way. Okay, then I'll explain what a plot armor is. Plot armor is in all these web series and video games. You have a character who's basically, if they go into battle, they're likely to die by logic, but they don't, because the story requires them to continue, right? So you have the power of the story and the plot to keep you alive. You may be the next king, you may be the chosen one or whatever. So that is your plot armor. So understand what, because the things are going to be challenging and volatile in future of the AI and geopolitics. So what is our plot armor? Our plot armor is everything you said before. Young, dynamic, agile, mobile workforce. And then what? Skills. So think about the skills you need to build. Your ideal combination of skills that you should be aiming for starting to build, and you don't have to be an expert on day one, but starting to build is, you need to know your domain well. Pick your domain, whatever your domain is it accounting, is it healthcare, is it AI, whatever that is, you have to build your domain skill. Then you of course need digital and data fluency on top of it. Because like it or not, the domain skills alone won't cut it. You would need digital and domain fluency to go through. So that's the second piece. The third important piece, which is perhaps most people don't talk about, and that is the secret sauce of success in future, is your deep human skills. Machines will take away a lot of things in future, but what are you going to keep that is uniquely human? Your sense of curiosity, being in a situation and asking why, right? Your sense of empathy, able to understand and know the why behind the way things work, how people think, compassion, care, creativity. A lot of these terms came up when we did the picturization before, right? It's things like these, innovation, which are very innate to human beings. That is going to be a plot armor. That is going to help you sail through turbulent times. Because everything else, I can tell you that in boardrooms, the discussion is, how the heck do I automate all of this? Because the thought is, people are messy, right? If I have to bring people on board, I have to grow them, and they will have issues, they will have concerns, and a whole lot of challenges that will go with, oh, I wish a machine could do it. And you know what, the answers are coming thick and fast. One quick question, how many of you use ChatGPT at least once a week? Raise your hands. Oh wow. Do you know this? Some of the images you see today are coming from ChatGPT. So Ankan and I, we did something different. Instead of engaging a designer for this, we used ChatGPT. What happened to the designer's job in this presentation? Gone. I'm sorry, that's a hard reality, right? So think about those human skills which are going to still make it. But Ankan and I were needed because we knew the context. Because what ChatGPT gave us in the first flow was garbage. but we needed our intellect and our emotional understanding of the space I'm going to speak in and the message to be able to craft a message and craft a image like this, right? So that deep human skill is going to be very, very important. So far with me? How many of I managed to successfully put to sleep? And I can take an honest raise of hands. Please do. Well, there are a few. I've been there. All right. So moving on, what does this image remind you of? Do you recollect this image? Mars, okay. Okay. Do you know what the name of the this orbiter is? There was a movie also. If you may not remember the real deal, you may remember Mangalyaan. So this is Mangalyaan per GBT. Now, why is this here? Why are we talking about Chandrayaan then Mangalyaan? What was special about Mangalyaan or our Mars orbiter mission? Anyone? They used the home science technique, okay, to slingshot. Okay, fair enough. They were innovative and frugal innovation. All right. Mic, you may have to grab the mic.
So they didn't have the funds, but they
Okay.
did use the requirements of the household.
Okay. So
And
home science
Yeah.
didn't
And
have the
the-
funds. All right. Is
So,
that the only thing special that we didn't have the funds?
They
And that's an
use-
important point.
So they use PSLV.
They use PSLV. Okay. Fair enough.
The way they convinced the people that they invest in them and they show interest on the mission what they are working on.
Awesome. All right. Fair enough. Thank you. So first of all, let me underscore. You know, we were the first country to send a Mars orbiter and successfully lodged it into the Mars orbit, the first maiden attempt. No other country has been successful. Do you know that? Raise your hands if you knew this before. We were the first country to do this. So understand the reason I have this on the slide is about there was certain bold stance that India took, and no country has done this before in the first attempt, but still we'll go for it. We'll go hard at it. We have our challenges. We didn't have the same funding as NASA did. ISRO didn't have that, right? But they came together and took a bold stand, and it was a statement to the world. Both the Chandrayaan as well as this was a statement to the world saying, we will make it happen, and we'll make it freaking happen on the first attempt. So some of this is like if any of you are pursuing chartered accountancy, it's equally like, okay, I'll clear my CA in the first attempt, right? No one knows, but they made it happen. Do you know the budget for this mission? Any guesses? Okay, similar storyline. It was again somewhere between 60 to 70 million dollars. Again, less than the movie budget of the movie Interstellar, which spoke about safe space travel. In fact, Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan put together, the budget was lower than the Interstellar's movie budget. So again, speaks a lot to don't worry about constraints. You need to have a bold disposition. If India has to be a superpower in 2047, we need to have a bold disposition about things. We can't be meek. We have to take your space. And this is what I'll say. Many of you may be right now comfortable, and eventually I see when people come together in conferences, they are very cautious about the space they take. अरे फैल के बैठो यार, ये जगह तुम्हारी है. This is a space that you have to own in your lives. This is not disrespectful when you take your space. Take your space. It's very important for a country. We've been for a while, you know, in a state where we have shrunk. And I'll speak to it in the later slide. And importantly, stop waiting for permissions to happen. Right? So you have to be bold. But bold is about taking the first step, right? But bold is not being brash. It is not being disrespectful. I think we sometimes confuse those two. It is about being respectful, being aware of where you come from, the rich heritage, and your belief in your ability, and dare to dream. It is not about showing someone down. So it's in fact a lot of bold people are actually very humble because they are so in tune with their capabilities and innate strengths, they don't have to show off, right? So that's the message that I'll leave with this slide. But do it with that, I keep saying this, be bold but with a unique Indian grace and swagger, right? We don't want to mimic boldness from the West. We have our own way of doing things. So moving on, the question you have to ask is, do you want to be job seekers or job creators? I think this will be a fundamental shift we will have to make as a nation. When we go to sleep and we wake up, do we want to, okay, let me get a job in so and so firm, or do I start, and I think Professor Mishra spoke about it early on, can we have the gumption to say that I will create jobs, even if it is one job, two jobs, right, or more. I'm on that drive. And fortune will favor the bold. It is not going to come to those who want to sit and wait. So have the courage to take the first step. But that's about boldness, right? But is skilling yourself, we spoke about skilling, then being bold, is that enough for maturing the vision of India 2047? Is there something else that is needed? You can see this image. How many of you recognize this image? Raise your hand. Some of you do. Can we get mic to someone who does? Can you describe what you see? What do you know about this image?
Sir, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam.
Thank you. Can we give him a round of applause, APJ? God bless his soul. What else? Some of you recognize this image. What does it? What is so special about this? Okay, we need mic. Yeah.
Dr. Abdul Kalam is carrying the parts of rocket
To where? Excellent.
to Sriharikota, I guess.
Yeah, it's not Sriharikota, it's another, I'm forgetting the name of the launch pad, but you're spot on, right, with the everything else. Tumba, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, excellent. So he's carrying the parts of a rocket. Why is he doing it on a cycle, by the way? What's wrong with him? Yes, we have a lady.
It's the very first rocket.
Okay, I can't see who this is speaking. And okay, all right. Yes. No, I can't hear you two speaking. I'm sorry.
It's the very first rocket for India.
Okay, but why is he? Thank you. You're absolutely right. But why is he carrying it on a cycle?
Resource utilization.
Oh my God.
No, he is poor, so he can't go and afford something else. So
Okay.
he's taking his own vehicle and.
Okay, so he can't afford, but he's working for the government, right? He doesn't have to afford. There are a lot of things I can't afford. I work for a firm, it takes care of it, right? Mike, please grab the mic.
There wasn't major support back then from the government side to on parts of research and those things. Post this is we saw the shift in the thought of people.
Excellent. So there was not much support, right? We didn't even have vehicle at that point in time for the India's missile man to carry the first rocket cone head to the launch station. So there are stories about him taking it on cycle, also on the main rocket booster on a bullock cart, right? Now this is not to say about frugal innovation, but the message is something different. It is to be unapologetically ambitious. I want to set this rocket on fire, I want to launch it, irrespective of what support I have or I don't have, right? It could have been very easy for a Kalam to say that, I don't know, for launching all of this, look at what NASA is doing, what is the Russian space agency is doing. They have like phenomenal support, rubles and dollars pouring in. So the smartest mind, arguably the smartest mind in India is actually doing physical labor carrying those things, because he is not waiting for permission. He is also the same man who helped power Pokhran 2, made India nuclear. 1998, thanks to whatever the government was at that point in time, but he did it at a time when entire world bar none were against India going nuclear. No technology transfers, sanctions all around on economic fate of the country. They took India nuclear. So there was this burning need to say that I'm going to be unapologetically ambitious as a country, as a scientist, as a politician. And we are not going to sit and wait for people to approve our growth, approve our aspirations. Your aspiration need no one's approval. So that's why I say, please apni jagah lo, phail ke baitho, very important. The world needs to see your stand, that you're not here with a begging bowl. So I always say, don't shrink in your ambitions, think big. It is about pursuing greatness without seeing approval. Right now it may not land, but you like it or not, the last 20 years that we thought was disruptive. The 20 years you're going to see in front of you are going to be massively disruptive. It is a red herring if you don't wake up, right? But it's fine. As humans, we'll adapt and we'll go forward. So we see the stories we have spoken so far have been a bit around space and rocketry and exiting what? Okay, one or two last set of questions. How many of you know what escape velocity is? Raise your hands, anyone who knows what escape velocity is. Oh, there is a gentleman there. You also know? Okay, you can get her the mic and, okay, you can go first and then you can speak.
The velocity required to break the Earth's circumference and go into outer space.
Velocity required to exit Earth's atmosphere?
Gravity. Earth's gravity.
Gravity, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
As you said, the minimum velocity required to escape the Earth's gravitational field.
Perfect. She's been a bit more fine-tuned in the answer, but both of you got the gist. It is the minimum velocity required by any object to escape any celestial body or planet's gravitational pull, after which the body will keep ascending forward, right? If you look at the Chandrayaan 3 or the Mangalyaan or the rocket space that we discussed, each of them required those bodies to exit Earth's gravity. So take a moment, ask yourself, we all will have gravity issues in our life. Gravity that will hold us down, keep us to where we are. It could be our society, it could be our close ones, our friends, "Zere nahi ho payega, don't try, don't be so ambitious," right? Or don't do X, don't do Y, don't leave safe shores, be in your comfort zone, it is predictable, why don't you just get a job and move on, and right? So whatever are your gravity issues, just take 30 seconds, close your eyes, if I may, just try to understand what your gravity issues are. Because each of us have gravity issues. Me standing here, I have gravity issues. And ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? Because if your rocket has to, breach Earth's atmosphere, your own life's gravity, you need to do something about escape, to attain escape velocity. It won't happen on its own. We have a wonderful ecosystem in our country right now to help you, but the real drive has to come from within. So put yourself on this journey to be skilled, bold, and unapologetically ambitious, right? This country needs all of you, and I'll leave you with just one conspiracy theory, as they say. I don't know how true it is, I haven't researched it. So how many of you know TikTok? Raise your hands. Well, this is not a true answer. So how many of you know TikTok as an app? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you know that the algorithm of TikTok in US and in China rewards different things? So as an algorithm in Instagram and others, you come up on their list and the scrolls. How many of you know that China rewards users of TikTok differently than the TikTok users get rewarded in US or even anywhere else in the world? Okay. So against the conspiracy theory, I would encourage you to research because there's a lot of geopolitics behind it. There is a theory which says in China, you come up on the list and whatever the scroll is, and you get more views. If you're actually inventing something, if you're actually solving a societal problem, or you're showing some specific skill, which is towards nation building. The same company, which is a Chinese-owned company, when they run this algorithm in US, it rewards people who are whiling away their time. They are dancing, they are twerking, they are running memes, right? And understand that if it is true, understand the reason behind it. The reason is the youth, where the youth focuses its time today, is the forest that will become. So if the Chinese youth is sitting and inventing and solving problems and building nations, building skills, and they are getting rewarded, they are on that dopamine hit. And then there is a country which has in the past, and I'm talking about US, which has been known for American exceptionalism and innovation. Their youth has been shifting their gaze because of TikTok and other to more recreational activities. 10, 20 years down the line, where do you think the world's skill pool will be? I'm not talking just talent, I'm talking expertise. So think about that. So where you spend time, the amount of hours you're going to be on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, doing whatever you're doing, no judgment here, is going to become your future. End of story. Because that's where you are spending your time. It's like going to a gym. If you go to the gym, you eat clean, you do yoga, you're going to be a better, healthy human being down the road. But if you're doing, junk food, if you're not exercising, then your life trajectory by the time you're 30 or 40 is going to look a certain way. And this everyone knows. Very few implement. So I'm going to leave you with that thought that what you do today in your life matters. It doesn't matter what I stand here and say. My time is half gone, right? And I'm quite kicked about my time ahead. You have to figure out what is really meaningful to you guys. Where do you want to invest your life and time? Because India needs you. The globe needs us. Because the working population is shrinking globally. So you better be skilled, bold, and unapologetically ambitious. Take your space. Thank you very much. I'm open to Q&As.
Thank you so much, sir, for that compelling keynote session. Your words truly resonate with the aspirations of a bold and ambitious India. And you've given us much to think about as we move forward on this transformative journey. Moving on to one of the most engaging parts of our conference, the Q&A session. We invite the audience to ask questions and engage in an open dialogue with our speaker. To begin, if you have any questions, please raise your hands. Our team will be around with microphones. Audience with any questions can raise their hands.
Sir, I have a question. After the session, one thing I realized is it takes a step to do something, but what it takes to take that step is my question.
First of all, thank you for the question. Can I have your name, please?
Zoya Khan.
Zoya, thank you very much for asking that question. How comforting would it be if I said, I don't know? Are you ready to take that answer?
Sir, that is also my answer, so no, I need a
So
actual answer.
two of us are together. So understand this, right? So oftentimes we say that navigating into the future, especially in our journey right now, is like driving your car on a rainy night with no street lights. It's pitch dark. All you have is your headlight, which throws up to about 20 meters ahead light. So you have visibility for next 20 meters. That's all. So you navigate your journey 20 meter by 20 meter. So now to the question of what do you need, right? The first thing is to take that step. And I always say that we overcomplicate in this world of we think and we feel and we do. No, sometimes you have to just do. right? And it's not being brash. It's about figure things out what you want to do and get to a decision. Don't stay in this analysis paralysis life. Because there is everything around you. You have a mobile. If you have to buy a mobile, simple thing, right? How many hours do we spend researching every feature and looking at 10 influencers telling us which phone to buy, right? Just go and pick a mobile. Research enough. Give yourself finite amount of time and just execute. Start executing. You can't intellectually work your way out of it. You have to jump in. You have to make a mistake and someone will come around to help you. You work with them to improve your next iteration. Does it help?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you to everyone for your participation. Your thoughtful questions and insightful feedback are what make this event truly meaningful. It's evident that the future of India lies in our ability to come together, innovate, and engage in discussions that challenge the status quo. I would like to take a moment now to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, Mr. Balaji Iyer. I request our registrar, Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, to hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. Balaji Iyer. I also request the Moss Adams team to join us on stage. I request Dr. Sagar Gulati, Director, School of CS and IT, to hand over a token of gratitude to everyone from Moss Adams. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Now we move to a moment of significance as we unveil the conference proceedings, a testament to the collective wisdom and efforts of our scholars and experts. It's my honor to invite our esteemed dignitaries, Dr. Jitendra Kumar Mishra, Dr. Sagar Gulati, Dr. Priyanka Mathur, and the guests for the day to officially release the proceedings. I kindly request you to unveil this compilation, which encapsulates the knowledge shared and the innovative ideas discussed during the conference. Thank you, sirs. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. It's time for us to hear from a person who truly embodies the spirit of innovation and transformation. Mr. Varun Jain, a highly accomplished professional, is the founder of and CEO of Miles Education. He is a Harvard Business School alumnus and holds both CPA and CMA certifications. Under his leadership, Miles Education has empowered thousands of professionals globally with cutting edge education in finance and business. Mr. Jain has been a thought leader in the fields of education and technology, and his work has contributed immensely to building a more skilled workforce for the future. We're extremely fortunate to have him here with us today. I request Mr. Varun Jain to share his thoughts.
So guys, I'll keep it very, very short. Just sit down. We'll wrap it up in like 5 minutes. We just take the cues from there. You guys are headed for a break now? Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think, we had a very nice keynote session from Balaji talking about, a lot of things, a lot of food for thought for all of you. And we're talking about India 2047. I think one of the takeaways that I have, for all of you is when you're looking at India 20 or 22 years hence, it's a lot about you, right? It's a lot about the youth. When you look at most of the developed countries, right, around the world, most of them are aging, right? The populations are retiring. You have more people retiring than people entering the workforce. India is very, very different, right? We are getting younger, right? A lot of young population getting into the workforce. So that's all of you, right? So when do you guys graduate? Which year are you guys? 25? 26? Who's graduating 26? Okay, 27? Okay, so you're going to be graduating like in a year, couple of years, and you had a lot of messages, right? Be bold, be skilled, be ambitious, right? What is your takeaway, right? How do you, and when we're looking at transformation of India, when we're looking at building of India, the question is, how are you transforming yourself? What's in it for you? Are you guys all studying BCom? How many of you studying BCom? BMS? MCom? And the question is, what's your plan? How are you planning to innovate? How are you planning to engage and transform yourself? Where do you see yourself in 20 years from now? Anybody here? You can shout out. Where do you see yourself in 20 years? Okay, 20 years is too long. 5 years. How many of you, let's say, when you get to the workforce, are looking at, let's say, leveraging technology, which is going to be one of the panel discussions which are going to happen after. How many of you looking at leveraging technology? AI? AI is not just ChatGPT. Khali ChatGPT mein sare answers kar liye, that's not AI, right? AI is a lot more than that. But, if you look at a lot of pieces, right, even if you look at, let's say, accounting, if I talk about BCom and MCom students, what's changing in accounting, right? How is technology impacting and technology is impacting everything else. A case in point is accounting. How many of you, let's say, have ever done a tallied a balance sheet? Anybody who's ever tallied a balance sheet or done a P&L account? Profit and loss balance sheet? Nahin? Okay. So now, let's say, very, very simple, right? If you look at a balance sheet or a P&L account, you're talking about what happened last year, right? Last year's balance sheet, right? Last year's profit and loss account. Now with technology, putting last year's balance sheet or last year's P&L, you don't really need accountants. It happens automatically, right? But where you need insights, where you need really smart accountants is talking about what will happen next year, right? So it's not just about what happened last year. It's about what will happen next year. Call it predictive accounting. Call it predictive analytics, right? As an accountant in business, you're not just talking about, okay, hey, this went wrong or we lost money last year. You're talking about how will you transform, how will you turn around and make money next year. Let's say when you look at, fraud, right? You look at cyber security. A lot of it is how do you use AI to really make sure the systems make sense and there is no playing the fool. Let's say when you look at auditing, right? How do you use data analytics to make sure, audits make sense? So again, the question is, as you guys, head to your graduation, 2 years hence, the question for all of you is what transformation, what changes are you bringing to your life? How are you working on your skill sets to get ready for the future? So as I promised, I'll keep it very, very short. So thank you so much, everyone, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thought provoking words, sir. I would like to thank all the dignitaries for their valuable time, insights, and contributions, and of course, to all of you for being here and being actively participative. We will now break for high tea arranged outside the auditorium towards your left. But before that, I would like Dr. Sheetal V. Hokeri to present a token of our gratitude to Mr. Varun Jain. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Audience, please note, we will now be breaking for high tea. Kindly be back by 11:35 a.m. for the panel discussion. Thank you.
Shivo, logo. Commerce logo, Jain ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಲಿ. ಸಾಕು. उन लोग देख रहे सीधा तू हाँ साला मैटर में
Very loud and clear? There's not a lot of bass. I think we needed to wake you guys up. First off, guys, great morning to all of you. You guys had a break, is what I know. Did someone says good afternoon? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I think we can do much better. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so very much. I mean, that feels nice. So what I do is, set a context of what's going to happen for the next 1 hour. And of course, we had Balaji Iyer sort of take the stage about half an hour ago. And he was talking about how we shouldn't be passive, we should be active. So especially, talking about the theme of Viksit Bharat 2047 and what we are to achieve as a nation together. We cannot sit back and look at the presentation, just be an audience. We should be someone to participate, and that's something that we're going to do today. As much as it's a Q&A with a lot of our panels, what I also expect is a lot of Q&A from your side, and we are more than happy to drive it as a conversation. Now, again, my name is Uttam. I'm a CPA, CMA. A lot of work to be done in accounting, and that's pretty much is the background that I hold. And today I'm very honored to be here talking to all of you as part of this national conference and sharing the stage with honorable panelists whom I'm going to be investing in a bit. But just to talk about the panel a little, guys, 20 years from now, just 20 years from now, we're all going to be very lucky to be breathing in 100 years of independence. India as a country, it is one of the largest economies in the world. It is the biggest democracy. We are 150 crore people family, and there's a lot of things to celebrate 20 years from now. But as much as of power we have as a country, and you guys can help me fill in on this one. With great power comes great. Can we do that again? With great power comes great. Amazing, right? So, and the responsibility that we see, what the aims that we have, the goals that we have for the next 20 years is going to be a lot in the sense of sustainability. You're talking about how do you uplift people from poverty. You're talking about creating new opportunities. We are talking about sustainability, green finance, right? The list goes on. And all of these sit as goals that we need to achieve. And to talk about, and of course, women empowerment, right? So many of these issues we're going to be talking about, and these are going to be the building blocks for us in order to become the nation that we envision to be at 100 years of India's independence, right? With that in mind, let me quickly introduce our panelists to the stage in no particular order. So I have our first panelist who is a globally recognized cybersecurity leader with over 16 years of experience in building and securing digital ecosystems across sectors like automobile, healthcare, manufacturing and retail. He currently heads cybersecurity engineering and automation at a leading global technology and engineering firm where he designs and implements cutting-edge security strategies that safeguard critical digital infrastructure. He is an award-winning professional with a long list of credentials, certified ethical hacker, CISM, ISO 27001 lead auditor, CyberArk certified and more. He's also passionate about mentoring future cyber leaders. Please join me with a huge round of applause in welcoming Mr. Nantaram Ramalingam to take the stage. Thank you so much. Yes. Next, we have a seasoned finance leader with a distinguished global career spanning over 28 years, Mr. Neeraj Dutt, is a consultant at ND Consultancy. His professional journey covers an impressive spectrum from working with from listed companies on BSE, NSE, NASDAQ, and NYSE to manage complex private equity transactions, M&As, and global financial operations. With a sharp focus on enabling capital market strategies, corporate governance, and financial system implementation, Mr. Dutt brings deep insights into how finance and policy can support innovation and growth. His vast experience makes him an invaluable voice in conversations about India's economic future. Please, again, with a huge round of applause, let's welcome Mr. Neeraj Dutt to take the stage. Now, while we are encouraging all the panelists to come to the stage, I really don't want it to be like Bangalore rain. So it starts off out loud, and surprise, surprise, there's no, it starts drizzling again. So let's keep the rain consistent, like how it happens in Chirapunji. So let's do more like a check one more time as to what is the kind of clapping that you can do. So in 3, 2, 1, can you guys clap? You see the energy in the room, what you can do by just, putting your hands together. So I want the same consistency for the next two panelists. On that note, let me introduce with more than 25 years of experience in internal and external audit, including global stints in New York and the UAE. Mr. Balaji Ranganathan is currently the head of internal audit for India and the Philippines at Wells Fargo. He's a CPA and certified fraud examiner from the US, as well as a chartered and cost accountant from India. He has led large-scale audits of multinational and SEC clients, dealt with regulatory reviews, and played a key role in setting up PwC's first of its kind delivery center in Kolkata. His expertise spans forensic audits, regulatory compliance, and risk governance. Please join me the way that I've taught you in welcoming Mr. Balaji to the stage. Thank you. Last but not the least, we have a CPA with over 2 decades of experience across finance transformation, operation and strategy. Mr. Bhavit Sethi is the business head of global business services at Siemens Technology India. He specializes in leading large-scale finance transitions, driving automation, and building agile tech-powered teams across global geographies, from restructuring complex European entities to leading ERP migrations and streamlining audits. Mr. Sethi's work reflects a deep commitment to operational excellence and chain leadership. Please, with a round of applause, let's welcome Mr. Bhavit Sethi to the stage. Thank you so very much. We'll just quickly check if those mics are working. I think that's good.
Hello? Yeah. It's working.
There you go. Technology is always a double-edged sword. So awesome. Thanks. Thank you so very much. So before I ask any targeted questions to each of you, I'd like you to take a stance, your stance on what Viksit Bharat 2047 would mean to you and probably even your industry. You want to start, sir?
Namaskara and good morning, everyone. Definitely, the India is, going towards the digital transformation. Definitely to the 2047, right? There are many digital initiatives taken by Government of India. At the same time, right, the cyber also one of the major threats for, the digital transformation. So I'm going to discuss more about in the upcoming, discussion. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. I think Digital India in 2047 is a very important milestone which the government of India has set for us to be a developed country. What it means is, typically if you look at from a financial perspective, we are talking about close to about $17,000 as a per capita income, whereas we stand today at close to about $2,500. So we're talking about close to 8 times increase in per capita income from the country, where we stand today, and that means a lot of work need to happen. It lies on our shoulder, it lies on the shoulders of the people sitting in this room and the generations to come. So each and everyone has a responsibility as well as the opportunity to take where we want to go as a country, as a overall community for us. Digital play a very vital role. What we have seen if I look back, let's say over the last 30-40 years, 2 or 3 outstanding movements which has happened. One, we can really call it on the auto side, when Maruti started way back in 1980s, and today what we see, big companies in India like Tata's or Mahindra's or Maruti, they have completely changed the landscape for us. That has been one of the very successful, phenomenal, improvement which we did as a country. Another one we can look for is something on the side of banking. What we today can really process and transact, nowhere happens in the world. We are really, truly, the leaders from the banking, transaction, payment, UPI, access, opening of bank account, and to what extent, digital and the tech has supported our growth. These are the two outstanding examples of what we have achieved in the last 30-40 years. And if we really look forward, what you are talking about another 20 years, a lot is need to happen, and we are really set for that as a country, as youngsters, and most importantly, our population, as it being young, has been really very open to learning the new tech, implement the new tech, and use it on day-to-day life, which really makes us stand apart from anybody else in the world. But what is important for us is to really count on this opportunity, not to really let it pass, and stay focused on where we want to go, both on the financial side as well as on the social improvements we want to do in the country for us. Look forward to the discussion as we move forward.
Yeah, I'm going to date myself with this response. So I started my career in '97, and Uttam said I was born that year. So, and a lot of you were probably born 10 years later, right? So I come from that generation. What was interesting for me, and the reason I brought that year up was late 90s, India went through a big transformation, right? We were having this Y2K issue. Software had a bug, and they needed technology professionals. Internet was being used in a big way. Fiber optic cables were all laid, which means somebody sitting in India could actually work for US companies and all that. So it was a big transformation phase, and that's when I literally started my career. And when I compare myself, I look at A.R. Rahman and Sachin Tendulkar. We're all kind of the same age group, right? And now some of them have retired, so I feel like, oh my God, when is my time coming, right? So the point is, and when that internet came and these fiber optic cables, and we thought that was the biggest transformation of the 21st century. And a lot of us, my entire career was made out of that entire growth, right? Like a lot of big companies, TCS, Infosys, Accenture, a lot of them kind of grew big right in that phase, right? But now what we're seeing is this whole AI is going to be much bigger than any of that, right? So I'm super excited, what this is going to do to each one of us, and the whole process of unlearning and relearning is going to be amazing, right? I think, to me, for each of you as students, I think the key for me to kind of be in this kind of journey is to be open to learning and also unlearning, right? A lot of things, what you learn today will kind of become redundant very soon. So it's about being agile and having that, but it's one of the most exciting times to be alive, because you've the most transformative technology that's going to come, and to kind of use that in every part of our life, I think it's pretty exciting, and it's a great time to be alive now.
Thank you, Balaji. And you are too young to be thinking for retirement. We need your energy, isn't it? Maybe we need to infuse a bit of energy to you guys. But on Viksit Bharat, if you talk about, it's not for the political parties. It's not only for country or governments only. I think it is for all of us. If you see a lot bigger target, a very big target that we have set for us. But the signals are coming, the very positive signals are coming here, right? If you see where we stand today, 850 million internet users we have. It's like 5 times, 6 times of many of the country's population. We have 1.2 billion mobile subscribers. Can you think about this quantum, such a strength, the youth that we have? There is a lot of opportunities. But the struggle is also so big. If you see, India is a very vast country. Can we ever think of getting developed without thinking about infrastructure, without thinking about banking, without thinking about education, women empowerment? I think the struggle is very, very big. It's mammoth. And what we need to do is to have this dialogue going on, to do these brainstorming sessions, to understand what is happening and what is not happening. What do we need to do? What is going right? If I see from this angle, economic growth 6-7%, we are the number one in the largest economies in terms of growth. But is that enough? The answer is no. We probably would need 9 to 10% to reach to the developed country target that we have set of 10 trillion for ourselves by 2047. So the road is there. We know the path. We have the energy. I was saying that India has the biggest GSLV, PSLV in terms of the youth. You guys are the biggest engine of the growth. And that is the responsibility that youth has to take India to a developed country. And we're going to discuss this more. So hand it over back to you, Uttam.
Thank you so very much. Now, our youth, I see a lot of you putting your heads down and probably using your phone. And what I assume is you guys are thinking for our country in that sense. I would be 100% inviting you guys to come in here and take the stage. And there's going to be 3 lucky participants for that. So having that said, this is just to make sure that one, I get your attention or I get your attention again. So having that said, I think I'll start off with my first set of questions. And Balaji, thank you so very much. You spoke about technology, and I want to pick that piece up. Let's address the elephant in the room. At this point of time, AI. There's not been a time I've been in office and not heard the word AI. And ours is a 800-member firm, and we use a minimum of 40 different AI tools. And I can only imagine what happens with bigger companies and all that. With AI and of course related technology coming in, is this going to be a tool for nation building, or is this going to exaggerate and create inequality or divide? Because let's understand, when you talk about India, while 40% or less population is, they have access, metropolitan cities and so many things going on, over 60% of the country is still rural India. At this point of time, when you have, something as powerful as AI coming in, do you think this is going to be a challenge, or it's going to be an opportunity that we can make use of?
Thanks, Uttam. Great question. So I'm going to first start with the addressing the elephant in the room, right? Is AI going to take my job, right? And that's everybody's concern. I have the same concern. And when that question was put to Jensen Huang, right, the guy who runs NVIDIA, he said AI is not going to take your job, but a person who knows AI is going to take your job away, right? So that's the key, right? To me, now we were talking about how in when I started my auditing career, we were doing it on paper and pencil and ticking and adding and cross-adding, and then we went into kind of this whole digital era of doing technology audits and all that. And now, as we look at as auditors for us, we are looking at how do I use AI in my audits? And now if you look at blockchain technology, right? Now, if the ledger is going to be, if every company goes into the blockchain technology, which is the infrastructure behind Bitcoin, it's a distributed ledger, it's out there and people can see it and it has maker checker. And then what's the rule for an auditor, right? So if things start moving and evolving, but then fraudsters are still going to continue, and there are problems are still going to happen, and risks are continue to exist. And as auditors, we are going to continue having, it's just the point is that we need to start constantly evolving and constantly learning and kind of picking up these new technologies and unlearning things very fast and relearning stuff, right? See, to me, when I look at, as an auditor now, we use analytics, we use big data, we have technologists in my team, and I kind of work with them to, do my audits, right? Now, in this whole new era of AI, I don't need to know coding, and that's amazing. Now, I can literally talk to, a large language model as I'm talking to a human, which means, knowledge of Python and all that is not required. Because in the past, you learned Excel, then you went Power BI, and you learned Python. New things kept coming, and, we kept on, reskilling ourselves to those things. But now some of those things are being taken away, and you can just, so in fact, we were talking about this new concept called agentic, AI, which means, instead of managing people, like if I have to do an audit, instead of telling a human how to do it, I can actually, talk to a agentic agent to get it done, right? So it is going to constantly evolve. And now coming back to your question, I know it's a long answer. See, I think the point is, I think it's the digital divide will go not between the haves and have-nots, it's between the people who embrace AI and the people who don't, right? Now, with this whole DeepSeek, which was built on $5 million, a same tool that, OpenAI built using $1 billion, it's been shown that if you use this technology smartly, right, you can do a lot of things, right? So I feel this is a great time, but it's also, it's up to us to kind of embrace it and start using these technologies, because I think if we don't, we are going to get outdated very soon. So I feel it's a great time to learn some of these new things that's coming our way.
Thank you so much. Neeraj, would you want to add to that?
Yeah.
That's good. I love it.
Yeah. See, I'll add 2-3 perspective, but slightly in a different way. If we really look at, what is successful in our country, considering, the population, the spread what we have, what is the only thing which succeed is something which is economical. When we talk about economical, things like Maruti succeeded, what it did with Maruti 800. When we look at telecom success, we are talking about the lowest internet cost or the lowest calling, mobile phones, it succeeded. When we look at UPI, no cost, it succeeded. When we look at air travel, not much, though a lot of people are traveling, but if we really talk about is 70 to 80% of people of our country are able to use air travel, the answer for that is no, because it's not economical. So I think I clearly see a significant amount of opportunities from AI. We just need to see that it is directed to the right side. I'll give you an example. I was analyzing the healthcare industry last week. I'll talk about few numbers, right? If you look at any of the listed hospitals, right? They have a metric which is called average revenue per operating bed. Basically, how much money they make on every bed they have in the hospital. And the range was about 30,000 rupees to 70,000 rupees. And you can look at a listed listed hospitals, you can see that. And then there was another metric which is average length of stay, which would mean that how many number of days a patient stays in hospital. So that typically was in a range of about 3 to 4. So if we look at from the lower side also, we are talking about that average close to 1.2 to 1.3 lakh is spent every time a person hits a hospital, right? Which is very high. For a country whose per capita income is only $2,500. Even if you look at, something like a $17,000 per capita income way back in 2000, way forward in 2047, this much is still not affordable. So there's a significant scope of, for various industry in our country to reduce the cost. And that's where the AI will get the biggest buck. And I don't really see too much of that lot of this thing will go in and take our jobs, as, Balaji also mentioned. We need to evolve, and especially we have the management, commerce, students here. So all we need to do is to evolve around it. It's one of the tools, what we have. Where it has to take the work, where it is costly, where it is not economical. And I just cited one of the example, like, significant amount of work can happen in hospital industry and healthcare services, where the cost of, operation is low, cost of treating people is low. In our type of a country, right? We are not talking about some 10 million population. We are talking about 1.4 billion, and thankfully we are young as a country. As we age, the number of people who need those treatment will be significantly high. That's one example. Similarly, if you look at examples like what is the other thing which we consume most, right? Energy. All of us need energy, right? From 24/7, right? From that standpoint, whether we are in home or we are, traveling while we are mobile. How some of, these things from AI can done so that we have smarter grids, which can really distribute energies very quickly, very cheaply. They can produce and distribute very quickly and very cheaply. How tech can enable that? To what extent we can have smarter car batteries which can really drive EV, much more cost efficient and much longer from a distance standpoint. So you can pick up, from day-to-day lives, from that standpoint and see where we spend more money, where you're spending your rupee today. And wherever you spend the biggest with limited value, for it, you will find AI come and play in that. And that's where the biggest buck, which lies for AI. And thankfully, we live in a commercial world, right? And commercially, since everything is looking for what is the return, right? If I'm going to put 10 rupees, whether I'm going to get the returns what I want, the places where it will find is the ones which are going to make significant difference for us, and where it can be more economical and more sustainable for us as individual and as well as country.
Thank you so very much. So now guys, so probably I have a question for you. How many of you are worried about AI taking away your jobs? If you were to put your hand up. Okay, so I think a better question right now would be, how many of you are not worried that AI is going to take your jobs?
A lot of them, nice.
Oh, that's nice. And what about the folks who didn't raise your hands for anything? It's like, you guys are like, getting into a different zone, Zenyasi kind of a thing. But then, guys, okay, cool. How many of you use AI right now? Any kind of AI tool? Anything, even if it means.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Future is bright. Thank you so very much. So, on that note, probably, I'm going to get to you, Bhavit. When you took your stance, you were talking about women empowerment. So, especially when you're speaking in the lines of technology and innovation, it is still a male-dominated field, and somewhere we'll have to sort of like balance the role of women. So, how is it that you, or how is it that we, as a country, as a society, envision and empower women to get into fields as such, so that both men and women are carrying the legacy?
Yeah, so the starting line is technologies are gender agnostic. Technologies do not actually differentiate between male and female generally, unless it is made for specific purpose. But I think it is important for all of us to understand the existing inherent gap that we have in the system, in the ecosystem we have, for the centuries we developed this, and now we see the gap is there. But this is getting narrowed down every day, and technology is helping that out. How that is helping that out is because to the most remote place also, now the internet access is available, isn't it? And it does not see whether the user is a male or a female, right? It gives you same level of opportunities. The new concept that is now being discussed is, or being openly used also nowadays, is virtual office. And most of the companies are adopting to that as well. That means you can sit anywhere and you can work. You can be anyone, but you can work. There is no differentiation that system does for them. But what technology can do to remove or eliminate this existing gap that we have is the data that you get. You're using, as I said, 850 million people using the internet, such a huge data getting piled up, but the data is a waste till the time we process it properly, bring out information, and from information, the business actionable insight. And the moment you are able to identify the gaps, that these are the area, this is the education system where women are not being able to go. Then comes the governance. The government can actually help that area. Private companies can also participate in that, and we can bridge that gap. So technology can be enabler to bridge that gap. Technology itself does not divide. It actually helps to bridge you the gap.
Thank you so very much. So, see, now it's a religion. Now, probably a question is to a lot of women in the house. So, outside of technology, what do you think is creating this kind of a gender gap, even in terms of opportunity, in case you have any insights, even if it means it's a word? Any of you? Stereotype. Anything else? I think we've achieved gender equality as well, except for the stereotype bit. Anything else? You guys are a cold audience. I'm going to warm you guys up. Yes, Kiruba.
Good point.
Women becoming? More progressive and proactive. Super nice. Now I feel embarrassed, Kiruba. I'm going to call you to join the panel right now. But I think, let's have a one-on-one conversation this way. Anything else, guys? Okay, I'm not going to push you too much.
Yeah.
That's
But
daggers.
one thing I want to add on this,
Yes.
on technology, Bhavit made an excellent point, right? Technology is gender agnostic, right? But then once you get into AI, it gets into I'll take a real life situation, right? Goldman Sachs was using AI to evaluate customer credit card applications. And this is a real life case, you can Google it, right? So you would expect it to be gender agnostic. There was this couple, husband and wife, both applied. The husband got the card and the wife got rejected, right? So now what happens with AI again is it's just mimicking human behavior, right? Even though it's a computer, right? So you will see, some large language models using racial tones, because at some point technology starts, like when you go into this whole machine learning and artificial intelligence and all that, I mean, what they're doing is it's just looking at millions of people doing what they're doing, and it's just assuming they're doing the right thing, and it's just kind of mimicking that behavior, right? So then there was a lawsuit, and then they said, okay, and then they went into the model and all that, right? So there is, there needs to be checks and balances, right? I mean, clearly, and now with this whole, the political situation in the US and DEI getting all, out of there's a conscious effort, right? So even for me, I would say, like, in internal audit, we don't have enough women. If you ask me, like, I used to be the president of the Institute of Internal Auditors, Bangalore chapter. So a lot of companies will call me saying, Balaji, we need, head of audit for this company, and we would want a gender person. I'm like, whoa, great, thank you. They'll be like, no, but I want somebody with 25 years financial services experience, banking experience, this, and a woman. I said, guys, like, you need to give some level of flexibility, right? Like, the point is, because what happens is women take career breaks, and we've seen that, right? Like, at various times in their lives, when they have a child, or when the parents get sick, or the in-laws get sick. So there's a lot of times, right? So there's a conscious effort that needs to be made. And then, like internal audit, there's a perception that you travel a lot, even though now in this whole technology situation, they don't travel a lot. But so we've kind of consciously made efforts to have, like, at entry levels, you have a lot of, gender equality, but as you move up and up and up, it kind of starts falling, right? But I think we need to all make a conscious effort, to kind of bring in. So we in Wells, we have a returnship program for people who have taken career breaks. I know Fidelity used to have it, Goldman has it, several companies have it, right? To bring women back into the workforce. But it's a conscious effort that we all need to make sure that, that gender parity is maintained.
Super interesting. Thank you so much, Balaji.
Thank you.
Well, the next question that I have is, quite well. I mean, I was sort of taken aback when I read it. So I don't know how many of you guys know it, but this is based off a documentary and sort of like a reading that I've done. So there are like 4 different risks that is going to deter entire human race, right? So, and the 4 risks are, if you guys could guess, we faced one of it in 2019. Pandemic, so something like, your COVID-19. Second is what we are facing with something like Ukraine and Russia and Israel, Palestine war, which is, nuke. So that's another thing. Third piece is what, I don't know, how many of you are from Bangalore? Raise your hands. Okay. So compare how summer was probably 5 years ago and how summer is right now, I can't believe it's getting humid here in Bangalore. There was a lot of heat, there was summer, yes, but it never got humid. So what is the third risk that we're facing? Climate change, right? And all these three things are something that we learn, probably as part of our schooling. It's news everywhere. The fourth big thing, the risk, is cyber security. How many of you know this? It can kill human race, cyber security. And I was taken aback myself. And on that note, I was talking to my cousin, and he does a lot of this tech stuff. Some point of time I want to do it too, else I'm going to lose my job. But what he said was, regardless of whether it's AI or blockchain or whatever it is, right? As long as humans have built it, humans can crack into it. Regardless of what we're going to say, what kind of security, privacy, cloud, whatever we say. Given the case, my question is to you, sir. With cybersecurity also being this kind of a threat, how can cybersecurity in India at least evolve in order to safeguard our digital infrastructure and services here in India as we march towards 2047? Just the digital economy is going to be $10 trillion. Just FYI, and that's the pathway that we have. So, what is your insights on that, sir?
Yeah, it's a very nice question. India's, undergoing the digital revolution, right? Already we got a UPI, Aadhaar, and digital locker, etc. Right? So, actually, we are aiming $10 trillion economy by 2047 by only the digital infrastructure, etc. So, right. As the digital landscape has continuously evolved, at the same time, the threats also continuously increasing in the space, right? So, how do we what is the begin in the cyber threats, right? So I need to give some statistics, right? So in India, last year, 2023, 2024, around 12,000 crores already only is doing for the cyber frauds. The people already lost 12,000 crores only for cyber frauds. It's going to be reduced or increased? Definitely is going to increase in 2025. The India is expecting around 20,000 crores fraud is going to happen for only cyber frauds. Right, so it is a number is very it's alarming for everyone. You should be very cyber safe as as a individual and the citizen of India, right? So and also the impact for the cyber breach, right? For individual is okay, some money will go. For the organization, is the number is little fair, right? Is around the average breach cost for the global is $4.88 million. It is a very huge numbers. And also the next 5 years, it is going to be $10.5 trillion. So it is in our economy which is going, we are going to take it for 2047, but the average cost for next 4 years is $10.5 trillion for the cyber breaches, only for cyber breaches. So what is all began, right? So let's take example. Why it is important for the cyber attacks, right? For example, if the cyber attacks are happening for our power grid or our another one is the stock markets. If it is manipulating some numbers, right? So what will be the impact? It is not impact for the digital numbers. It is impacting for the economic, social, and geopolitical. For example, a couple of years back in Ukraine, the one of the cyber attacks happening in the critical infrastructure, the government infrastructure, around 5 to 7 days there is no power in entire days. So it's going to happen for India as well. But what I'm saying is a very is a critical problem for across globe, not only for India. It is a challenging one for the global as well as India. In the context, how do we, we cannot stop the cyber attack, that is very sure. But how do we minimize the attacks, or how do we stop the attacks, or how do we delay the attacks? That is what all the organizations are working on this. And so some the promising in this coming in the AI. AI is not only for it is a game changer for the cyber security. Why? Because it will be faster detection of the cyber threats and the immediate response, and also it will be predict the cyber attacks. For example, in my own organization, what attack may come based on my critical data, whatever available the data, I can predict the attacks. If I predict the attacks, I can able to do some proactive actions, right? So definitely the AI will be the game changer in cyber security for threat detection, prevention and predict the threats. That is what, the AI is the game changer in the cybersecurity. So for the critical infrastructure, right, what are the things we need to take, as a government or as an individual, right? So we need to have the cyber resilient for critical infrastructure. What they means, right? So we need to implement zero trust architecture. What is mean? We should not believe or allow any people by default. That means we should not trust anyone by default. We need to do the multiple checks and balance. For example, if I am a user, if I am a citizenship, I want to log into my Aadhaar. It is not only for OTP. We need to have a 5 different the checks before I'm getting to the Aadhaar. So that is what government is currently working on this. This is a zero trust architecture for implementing for accessing any infrastructure for government. And second one is the government also incorporating the global standards already is available for critical infrastructure. For example, for manufacturing or the power grid, etc. There is a ISC 62443 framework, and US already created for NIST framework, which will be incorporated in the Indian government. Then it will be they have a proper the people, process and technology, everything in the paper. That will be improve the overall critical cyber infrastructure. The second one is government is alone cannot do anything, so they have to collaborate with the private and like colleges. Then you can create a the comprehensive cybersecurity strategy for the government. The third one is the government is going to create already they're creating the digital and the digital DPDP Act is going to come. It is a Digital Protection Data Act that is more on privacy. How do we handle our data? For example, if I'm giving my data to let's say I'm going to KFC, I'm buying something, I'm giving my data. A right to give the data, right to delete. If I say that my data to be deleted, they have to delete it. So that is a act is going to come in India shortly. Already is implemented in Europe countries for GDPR. So similarly, the law is going to come for DPDP Act in India as well. So government is continuously doing there are more security governance in India. So as an individual, right, we should be very safe. We should not share my critical data, my sensitive data in social media, and we should not share our information to unknown people. So it's a very, very critical for each and it is a cybersecurity is not a government responsibility. It's a shared responsibility for each and individual citizenship.
Thank you so much. I think you're going to start disliking me because I pretty much oppose everything that you've done. I mean, and I face the wrath of it. So the question to you guys is, so first off, I myself have, been a victim of the kind of a fraud because of my desperation of a job, I'd say about 6 years ago. I wanted to shift jobs and all that. And there was this Indeed Co. I don't know, Indeed is a company you guys know of? Sometime you will, for at least, those of you who are looking for jobs and all that, right? So they made fake profiles and all of that. They approached me and I lost about 20,000 bucks. And it was like, my first earned salary that I had, I spent it all on taking care of my friends that I don't know who they are, but they never came back to me with that 20,000. So this is the kind of scale at which things are happening. And I am a victim. How many victims are sitting in front of me in the audience? You guys have lost money, 1, 2, 20. It's okay. I know it can get a little embarrassing, but it is what it is. Put your hand up. None of you. 1 hand, 2 hand, that is all. You guys have not lost money at all. Put your hand up. Be proud of it, yeah. I mean, mistakes are good. You make mistake now, you won't do it again. Oh, nice. For the rest of you, all the best. If you guys are not careful, you're going to have one or the other Indeed company coming in and taking in money. But so you heard the stats, right? The numbers and all of that is one thing. So you also spoke about one of the stats where in one small area there were like 2,000.
Yeah. So in my own city, right? I'm living in Hosur. My own city, every month around 2,000 cases only filed for only cyber attacks. So this is a very shocking news. I just wanted to give some glimpses. How do we know if someone has lost the money, right? Don't panic. There is the way to recover the money. Definitely you can reach out to me. I will give the procedure because if a UPI fraud, right, we can able to recover. I recovered around 10 lakhs rupees for many people. So don't panic. There is a government is given the very clear guidelines. You can call to 1930 immediately. They can file the case immediately. Whatever amount is lost in your UPI fraud or bank fraud, you can able to recover it. The many people didn't know. They just wanted to just leave it because of small amount. There are many people lost course money, but there is a procedure to recover the money. Definitely, I will give to your college how to recover the money. I have some standard procedure. You can follow. Definitely, you can able to recover the money. Yes.
Thank you so very much. Guess who just got rich by 20,000 bucks? You're welcome. Thank you so much, honestly. Now, probably, just to take the momentum going, Balaji, I want to turn to you. India is also moving to, and of course, the entire world should, to a circular economy, right? So we are talking about reduce, reuse, recycle. So at this point of time, at least to us, when we say sustainability, at max, what we know is take the plastic, bottle and put it in a blue bag or a bin. That is where it stops. And being at this kind of a state, how do you think we'll have to embrace the entire circular economy, and how can some like technology come into picture to help us out?
In terms of sustainability.
Sustainability,
right?
yes.
Yeah. No, I think I mean, if you look at how technology is helping with sustainability, right? Again, there are two sides of it, right? Like one is obviously these are all power guzzlers, so there is a lot of power that's being consumed, and hopefully that will get better as newer version of technology comes. But in terms of the like, even if you take the big example, I'll take between ChatGPT and DeepSeek, right? Now, ChatGPT, for those of you that know, billions of dollars spent. It took years and years to build that model, and now DeepSeek came, with, they say it's a $5 million investment. Maybe it's a little bit more. I think it's probably underestimated, but it's definitely not $1 billion. Now, Wall Street Journal actually beautifully summed up how these two, what's the key difference between these two technologies, right? In layman terms. Now, ChatGPT is in a library with millions of books, and ChatGPT has physically read all these books. So you go to ChatGPT and ask them, my teenage daughter is not talking to me, she's being merry, moody, how do I deal? It'll give you an answer, right? But if you go to DeepSeek, DeepSeek is like a librarian in that whole, library. When I ask the same question, it says, okay, you're having teenage daughter problems, so there's a book here, and then it'll give you information. So what it does is, now one has used tons and tons of electricity and tons of computing power, but DeepSeek knows a little bit of a lot of different things, and so it's able to seek the answer and give it to you and so if you use technology smartly, right? So actually, when DeepSeek came, one biggest stock price crashes that happened was Nvidia, which everybody followed. But what also happened in the US was a lot of the electricity companies' stock also fell, because they suddenly said the computing power that's required is probably not the same, right? So I feel technology is going to dramatically change, and this is just one small example, right? And there are going to be numerous such examples that will come out, right, as these technologies, are used. And we talked about high cost of healthcare, right? Now, if you start using AI and continuing to detect what are the new things coming out, how do we, proactively reduce it, I think the potentials are just immense, right? I think it's from a sustainability standpoint, if you can proactively identify problems before they happen, climate change and all that, I think, I feel this is, it will have a huge impact in terms of sustainability in a very positive way.
Thank you so very much. Yeah. Again, probably, the question is back to the audience. How many of you take recycling and environment seriously? And this, I want you to put your hand up probably with your right hand on your heart, and then put your hand up if you actually take care of, be it, at simple in your household, if it means having 2 different bins, or if it means when you're outside somewhere, probably in the college campus itself, where you're actively disposing plastic or any other waste the right way it should. Put your hand up. Love you guys. The rest of you, put your hand together for these heroes of environment, because they're not just working for India, they're working for the world, and that's what pretty much everyone needs right now. I think we speak of the word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, and every bit and piece, even if it means at an individual level you're doing something like this, right? It has like a tremendous impact. Do carry that forward, and the rest of you who are not doing it already, please learn from your peers and be the best people, be the environment people, right? So having said that, again, in interest of time, I want to do something interesting. So I have about 8 different questions, and each of you is going to be taking 2, and we're going to do more like a rapid fire round, and you'll answer with just one word to the question that we have. Okay? So probably we can start with I think we can start with you, Neeraj. So One word that defines India's digital future. Tech.
I would say progressive.
Nice. So probably, Nantram, the question to you is, a technology you believe will shape India by 2047?
Definitely there is the artificial intelligence and 6G and quantum computing.
6G?
Yeah, 6G.
Oh, that's nice. We are commerce folks, so artificial intelligence is something that we understood. The other one was blah blah and blah blah, right? So probably we'll have you speak a little on quantum computing, probably Kiruba you as well, because I want to know what that is. I know it's cool, that's all I know.
Very small example for quantum computing, right? We are using multiple encryption, right? For example, encryption, AES, advanced encryption, etc. For breaking one encryption will take for years, yes. For example, AES algorithm, if you are going to break, it will take for 100 years. If the quantum computing comes, right, we can able to break within the minute. That means nothing can be, breakable. So that is the one, technology is going to come for, already people are already creating some quantum computing. So it is a very dangerous. At the same time, there are more benefits also there. I can discuss it later. I mean, if required.
Oh, that's super nice. Now, thank you. Guys, this is more in my interest, so I'm going to take this stage to speak to each of you guys individually here. I know, a lot of you are commerce professionals, but if there is, even, I come with a commerce background and all that, but if there is one way, if I could, get a time machine, get back to working on my education again and building up an entire, career, it would be in cybersecurity. Even as commerce professionals, it's a tremendous booming field. Not even, see, there's a lot of talk about AI and prompt engineering and creativity and all of those stuff. Even when you read the Future of Jobs report by the WEF and all of that. But as commerce professionals, in case today you're sitting and you don't know where to build a career, when I say career, it's not just going and working for a company. I mean, if you feel entrepreneurship, this kind of a journey, any journey that you have, please, check for the opportunities that you have in cybersecurity. I mean, now probably if I could do things differently, I'd be friends with you for longer term and we'd have a company together. But this is, more like my piece of advice to you. Do check it out. Something like a CFE program. If not a program in itself, just do some bit of research as to which kind of companies you can get into. Or there's a lot of, it's a niche, it's a sub-niche within the niche. And where there are niches and sub-niches, there is money. And we all love money. How many of you love money? I love money. Anyone telling happiness better than money and all of those gyanis here? No, everyone loves money. So money is there in cybersecurity. Now, two ways. One, pursue a right career and make money, or fraudulent career, 20 million, how much, sir? So you choose. You want to be a good cop or a bad robber? You cannot be a bad cop. Or can you? You can actually. Okay, bad cop. So having that said, let me just, continue with my list of questions. So probably I'm going to come to you, Balaji. So one thing you wish we could automate in our daily life?
Bangalore traffic.
Nice. So only good thing about Bangalore for yesterday was we won the match, and I think we're going to carry it forward. RCB fans in the room, love you guys.
Day before yesterday.
Thank you so much. So he's from Chennai, just keeping the record straight, and he's
Chennai also won yesterday.
yeah, that is okay. I mean, I don't want to talk about it. Talk about the good sides. We're gonna be there soon, but anyways, this is bringing back some, coming back to the discussion. So, Bhavit, one trait the next generation of Indian leaders must have.
Futuristic, we need to be.
Super nice. So I think we'll get back to Neeraj.
The mic, so come this
we'll come this way. Done. Makes sense. So the next question to you is your favorite Indian innovation or digital initiative so far?
Not about so far. I want this to happen quickly. Is the liquid bots, and the liquid bots are those bots which will go in the body and will kind of does the repair within the body without a surgery. That is what I am looking for. That is what I want it to happen quickly so that the surgeries are away from the world.
A little traumatized, but how many of you would like bots in your body? Put your hand up. than a random human with shivery hands and a scalpel in his hand. Dots versus a random human with a scalpel. Acceptance thoda. Anyways, so the next question that I have for you is one word that describes your leadership style. Futuristic?
I would say people-centric.
Nice. Super nice. Super nice. So probably the question to you is, so India in 2047 will be?
A world leader.
Oh man, amazing. This deserves a slogan, guys. Bharat Mata Ki. Bharat Mata Ki. Love you guys. That's Indian power, right? So one last question for you is one global brand that you admire for digital transformation.
Globally, it's a Tesla and Apple.
Tesla and Apple.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, guys. So, having that said, this concludes our entire panel discussion. I hope you guys learned something of value. We made sense of the 1 hour that you guys sat with us, not just in terms of your career, some amount of reflection to what you guys are doing for the environment, for yourselves, and of course, what the future looks like. Guys, even if not for the panel or, for the conference, understand this is our nation, this is our motherland, and each of us, even if it means in the smallest bit, right, we have a role to play. And it is on each of our shoulders, so let's embrace each other, let's shoulder all the trouble and make sure that we become the world leader that we are meant to be. So having that said, Jai Hind, it's Uttam Pai signing out. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for having us here. Have a wonderful day. And if you have a great weekend, please settle down until we felicitate our panelists.
Thank you so much. On behalf of School of Commerce, Jain deemed to be university, in association with Miles Education, I deem it my privilege to thank and extend a heartfelt gratitude to the moderator and all the panel speakers for spending their valuable time and sharing with us your immense knowledge. I now request Dr. M.K. Sridhar, Head Department of Languages of Jain deemed to be university, to hand over a token of gratitude to the moderator, Mr. Uttam Pai. To the moderator, Mr. Uttam Pai. Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. C.K. Suresh, Head Department of Commerce, PG Studies, to hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. Nantaram Ramalingam.
Guys, keep it raining.
And Mr. So I would rightly request you to hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. Neeraj Dutt as well. Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Meera Mani, librarian, to hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. Balaji Ranganathan. Ma'am, I request you to also hand over a token of gratitude to Mr. Bhavit Sethi. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you. Audience, we will now break for lunch.